What do you want? I want to take your life because you screwed up mine. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like being lied to, Miss Franklin. Most of all, I don't like being made a fool of. I knew that the medical record was fake and I was terrified. Most of all, I knew what he was accused of and feared for my life and the life of my son.
You liar! None of you believe a word that comes out of her mouth. She's lying right through her teeth.
Where are you taking me, Adaku? As for the exact location, you'll find out when we get there. Right now, all you need to know is that I'm taking you to your final resting place. I'm honestly terrified of Mr. Torres. He did in fact threaten to sue the hospital and threaten to make me lose my position as chief of staff. Mr. Torres forced me to take a photo with him. Then why wait until court to say any of this? Blackmail is illegal. You could have gone to the police. I was afraid that the police wouldn't believe me. Why not, Dr. Murphy? You hold a respectable position in this town. Why wouldn't the police believe you? Especially when the police are trying to prosecute my client. Because your client still holds power in this town. Much more power than I'll ever be able to obtain. You would be afraid of him too if you were placed in the position he put me in. No further questions. I understand that your house was raided, but what makes you think that I had anything to do with that? Miss Franklin, I know that you and Pacho Torres worked together to bring me down. I don't know exactly how Pacho knew about my true identity, but the fact is that he did find out, told you, and you ended up leaking my identity to the world. Please leave this life with dignity, Miss Franklin, and admit to what you've done. You have no room to judge me, not after you have my brother, a minor, putting his life on the line selling poison for you. It's over, Adaku. Your family empire is crumbling before your eyes, and taking my life isn't going to change that. That's correct, Miss Franklin. Taking your life won't change the fact that my empire is crumbling, but it's crumbling because of you and Pacho Torres. Once I take your life, Pacho will learn that deceiving me the way he did was a fatal mistake. Commissioner Burke, you were appointed to investigate Elvira Russo's case back in 2003, correct? That's correct. What do you remember when you initially investigated her case? I knew that her life was taken by someone with a knife and that her nephew Ben was pretty much the only witness, even though he didn't see who took her life, but only heard her screams. Did Ben Russo tell you anything about what he heard? All he told me was that he remembered Elvira screaming with someone. He couldn't determine if Elvira screamed, "I don't want you," or "I don't want you here." But now he's certain that he heard the words, "I don't want you." Yes. Were you aware that Elvira Russo had an affair with anyone at that time? I was informed that she was having an affair, but I didn't know that she was having an affair with Devontae Torres until the beginning of the year. Commissioner Burke, is there any physical evidence that you have that would tie Mr. Devontae Torres to the crime? I do. In fact, I've got a hold of Elvira's diary. Let me get this straight. You're gonna try and take my life and make Pacho feel guilty for the rest of his life? I'm not gonna try, Miss Franklin. I am going to take your life. As for Pacho, his feeling of guilt is the least of my concern. After I dispose of you, I want him to live the rest of his days, wondering if I'll make him disappear as well.
Dispose of me? Adaku, I'm a human being, not a piece of garbage.
You're my enemy.
It's not like you don't have the resources to leave town or even leave the country. You can let me go, and the police won't be able to catch up with you.
Miss Franklin, I need you to understand something.
Carrying my father's legacy meant everything to me. It still does. Now that I've allowed my father's legacy to burn in flames, I have to make sure that I don't become remembered as a coward. It's disrespectful to my father's memory. In order to honor my father's memory, I still need to send a message that the Dunjumas are not to be made fools of.
Shouldn't you object or something?
Hold your horses, Devante.
Is this Elvira's diary?
It is.
Has it been tested to be authentic?
It has.
How does this diary confirm that Devante Torres took Elvira's life?
Clearly, Elvira had no idea that her life would be cut short, but it confirms that Devante Torres is not to be trusted. Devante claimed that Elvira pursued him. The diary, in Elvira's own words, states the opposite. Elvira wrote in her diary that Devante charmed her, and she fell for his charm. She wrote in her diary that she regretted cheating on Udell, longing to get him back. In fact, she was willing to tell Udell the entire truth about her affair with Mr. Torres. It lines up with Ben's account of Elvira telling Mr. Devante Torres that she screamed out the words, "I don't want you." We believe that Devante couldn't handle the fact that Elvira no longer wanted him, went to the Russo estate to change her mind. But when she refused, he snapped, took out his knife, then took Elvira's life.
No further questions.
Miss Drake, do you have any questions for the witness?
Harley.
Miss Drake, do you have any questions for Commissioner Burke? No, Your Honor, I have no questions.
Here we are, your burial place. Now turn around and kneel.
Adaku, please, have some dignity, Quinlan. I'm begging you, please let me live. You know how important family is. Zeke is important to me. He's all that I have. I'm all that he has. Please don't take me away from him.
If you don't turn around and kneel, Quinlan, then I will shoot you between the eyes. Despite your conspiracy against me, I did value you as an employee. I'm trying to be graceful. I'll give you until the count of 3. I'm sorry, Miss Franklin, but you brought this upon yourself.
Adaku, put the gun down.
Throughout our time in court, we have learned a few things about Devante Torres. He is more than the owner of a successful hotel. He is more than a husband. He is more than a father. Devante Torres is a liar. He is an adulterer. He is a predator. And most of all, he is a monster. A monster who took the life of a 17-year-old girl. A little girl who had the rest of her life ahead of her. Devante Torres got to live his life. He had the chance to get married. He had the chance to become a father. And he had the chance to see his family's hotel reach to new heights. While he got to live his life, his lover, his victim, never got to do any of that. Elvira never got to marry the man she loved. She never got to become a mother. She never even got to achieve her dreams. All because of that man, Devante Torres, who couldn't stand the fact that his mistress, a teenager, didn't want him anymore. Since he couldn't have Elvira, no one could have her. Not her boyfriend, not her friends, not her brothers, not her nephews, and not her parents. Elvira's life was robbed, and because she was sick and tired of Devante Torres, he coldly robbed her from those who cared about her.
Since you didn't cross-examine Finnegan like you should have, those closing arguments better sweep the entire courtroom off of their feet. Mr. Grant was correct. Devontae is a husband, father, and successful businessman. Despite that, Devontae is a man with flaws, a man with weaknesses. Though he has this persona of being larger than life, he is just a man. Does that truly make him guilty of a brutal crime? There is no weapon, no DNA evidence found against him, and no clear motive for taking Elvira's life. Did he have any business being with Elvira? Absolutely not. He has admitted that. What he won't admit to is taking Elvira's life, not because he's worried about facing punishment, but because he's a flawed man who didn't do what he's been accused of. Why admit to something so gruesome if he didn't do it? My client is not a monster. He is a human being that shares the same sort of flaws that we all have.